Welcome back, everybody. I am here in Midland, Texas, working on some trucks. And a little while ago, so I had my 98 Freightliner that I was using for the trash business. I sold it to this company here in Midland. And I came and they had a big crane truck with an 8.3 Cummins, same engine that's in my 98 Freightliner. And it was acting real slow. Wouldn't do over like 45 mile an hour. So I checked boost. It was getting 10 pounds of boost. I checked the pickup pump, the delivery pump. It was at 5 pounds or something like that, 8 pounds. It was doing pretty good. I didn't have a good fuel pressure gauge to test that, but I knew it was getting fuel. So the next thing on my list, I had this truck, same engine, and I figured, well, maybe I'll try. I didn't have any blow-by on the truck. I was like, well, maybe I'll try tuning with the AFC housing a little bit. And the easiest way to do that, instead of just messing with that, I decided to swap the TST products kit, which was a number 8 fuel plate. I can't remember what the designations on those are, but so I just swapped over my whole fuel plate and AFC housing from this truck, which I had set up really well, to their big crane truck. And ended up working. That truck would never do, it'd do about 55, 65 mile an hour, and you'd get down to about 30 mile an hour going up a hill, which they don't have any hills in Texas, so it hadn't been a problem. But switched everything over and the truck ran great. They said the driver said it ran better than it ever has in 14 years. So I overnighted another one from TST products, and I just left that fuel plate in the crane truck. It didn't smoke, should be safe. TST didn't have any of the number 8 plates left. They had a 10, which was less power, and nobody wants that. And they had a number 5 fuel plate, which was more power. And so we decided to go with that one. I'm hoping it's safe. So on the stock truck, you could slide this forward and gain, maybe 10 or 15 horsepower. And on that number 8, I had it slid all the way forward. Number 5 is a hell of a jump from a number 8. Oh, they were out of number 6s as well. So we went to number 5. And I'm debating on whether or not I should. It's kind of hard to align this thing without the alignment tool. So the best way to align it is either all the way forward or all the way back. Back would be less horsepower. Forward would be more horse. I think I'm going to go with forward. And then maybe slide the AFC housing back with its little bit of adjustment towards the back. And hope this truck holds up to it. Everything else has been good. I came and did, this had some exhaust manifold gasket leaks. So not my truck anymore. Other than that, I probably would have went through and put a new turbo and probably exhaust manifold and got a little bit crazy with it. This truck does run really good though. So I came and did all the exhaust manifold gaskets. I still have, I don't know if there's some of the blown ones down here, but I still have the exhaust to put back on. This is Texas. It blows dirt everywhere. My pad was clean, and it's freaking 103 degrees out here, so it's brutal to work in. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried giving these guys a hopped up 8.3. We'll see if it rolls coal at all. It's kind of hard to tell because it's just got a dump back here. But we'll see if it smokes at all. It did really well before with the number 8. We're gonna upgrade, and I'll let you know how it goes. This freaking truck, man, is getting dirty here. See if you can see. It's been sitting here just for a couple weeks, man. They have already, this truck was a cream puff. It was freaking perfect. These oil fields they'll run these things into the ground, man. So other than that, I'm doing a few other jobs for them. I got all kinds of trucks lined up. Pretty much everything's already done. I got those 3 fixed. I got that one fixed. 2 crane trucks are out in the field. and just enjoying the desert. On the previous video, I probably didn't explain a whole lot. There's a lot of videos out here because of the 5.9 Cummins, but this is your factory fuel plate right here. Not sure what the old one looks like. I'll take this one home and see if it's the same, but anyways, this is your profile here on the factory ones, and the only thing that changes, so you can see they changed those profiles a little bit, and this is for mid-level fueling, something like that. And then you've got, like I said, lots of videos out there for the 5.9 Cummins. So you got your aneroid spring adjustment in here, your star wheel, you turn that. I think that's for higher end fueling, or so that, I think that's mid boost level. This is a higher boost level. And then back in this little guy here, you have your low boost spring. And honestly, on a semi truck, like I said, man, I'm not here to roll coal or anything. I try to make these things reliable. But these trucks are only 180 or 200 horsepower. Let's see what it says on here. Oh, this one is, oh, this one's 250 horsepower. So they have some higher horsepower levels. There's some, I think, above 250. You got to be careful with these number 5 plates. These things get a little bit hot. Like you seen on the previous video, I put a barometer in it so they can, and I tell them try not to get over 1400, which who knows how that works out for them. But you can check out on the previous video. It's kind of cool, man. This thing picked up a lot of power just with this modification. So, oh, and they have a new elbow which goes in the AFC housing. So this goes over to your turbo, and this is a boost reference line. So they've got this one, they've got a restrictor in it, and they've got a little breather hole to let off of it. And that restrictor is really not meant to be messed with. I guess they've got it set, they've got it Loctited in there. And that's about all that comes in this kit. You get one bolt. I'm not sure if this has something to do with the low smoke screw on the back, or if it's just a replacement for those bolts that you cut out. That's not one. Somewhere here. Oh yeah, this little guy here. So I just cut out that one. I didn't have a chisel, but so maybe it's a replacement bolt for one of the lock ones. But yeah, this kit, I mean, there's, you know, they make a hell of a difference. Even going from this factory plate to the number 8 was freaking wicked. So I'm a little worried about a number 5, but I'll put it together, and if we need to, we can back this towards the back of the engine. I'm not even messing with the aneroid spring in here, the star wheel, and I'm definitely not going to mess with the low smoke screw. Never done that before. This is the old AFC out of the other crane truck. So star wheel hasn't been changed, low smoke screw hasn't been changed, nothing's been messed with yet. So it's been a little while since I made the previous clips that you just watched. I was in Texas, I'm back home now, so truck is back home with me. Drove it all the way back with a load, and did pretty good. I liked everything. So this will probably be the last time you see this truck on the channel. I'm going to maybe, we'll see. I'm going to quit driving these things. There's been a lot that have changed. So no more truck driving. I did trade this truck a while back for a Ford F550 that you guys seen. Ford F550 is already gone. And I bought another Ford F550 that I'm starting on as another project. So, but I want to do the same testing that I did with this truck. In the previous videos, I put a number 8 on, and now I went down to a number 5 TST plate. Did all that work in Texas, and drove it back. So let's go out. We'll do one more test drive. We did a 25 mile an hour to 60 mile an hour, 7th gear, just starting out, and then flat to the floor. The truck does seem to govern a little bit differently than it did before, so I don't know if governing springs got a little bit weaker over time or something like that. I'll have to watch my previous videos. But for those of you interested in this TST system, it's pretty awesome. So let's go out and test drive it real quick. All right, we're in 7th gear. We round this corner here. We're gonna go 25 to 60 mile an hour. Like we did on previous tests. Let me get a straightaway. All right, down to 25. Let me get it steady right there. Start. $45, $55, $60. We're actually maxing out. We're governed out at 60. We shift up to high. Sorry, this truck is bumpy. Try that test one more time. Get us down to 25 here. So it may be governed out a little bit differently than it was before, but there's 25, go. That is pedal flat to the floor. 60. So it's governing out a little bit before 60. It's high gear, so that is flat to the floor, so 900 degrees. I can't remember what my previous measurements were, but I drove this 13 hours all the way back from Texas with about 30-something thousand pounds on it, and it'll stay around 1100 degrees. So even with this fuel plate, EGTs are fine. Drivability seems a whole lot better. I stole the old fuel plate for a big 30-ton crane truck. That thing runs a hell of a lot better. And yeah, this thing's doing good. So I watched my previous video on YouTube where I did a 25 to 60 mile an hour run, and originally the truck was at 24 seconds, 25 mile an hour to 60. It was very slow when I first bought the truck. I did the number 8 fuel plate, and we actually went up to 11 seconds. So this time with the number 5 fuel plate, which is probably another 50 horsepower over what the number 8 was, I did 16 seconds. So I was actually 5 seconds slower. So here's a few things that could be going on. One, when I went to get the truck in Texas, I went and drove it with, I drove it around for about a week. And I haven't drove it in 6 or 8 months, something like that. And it drove pretty good. I was happy with it. Didn't really notice anything wrong. But it had a exhaust manifold gasket leak. So I went through, put new exhaust manifold gaskets in it and everything like that. I put the number 5 plate in there, and I did notice an improvement at that time. Now, it may be slower from when I first got this truck and did the number 8 plate about a year or two ago. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been quite a while. This truck, one, has a lot more miles. I sold it to an oil-filled company. They've been abusing the shit out of this thing. It doesn't have that many miles, but it sat for 16 years of its life. When I got this truck, it hadn't ran in around 15, 16 years. So, injection pump could be going downhill a little bit. Turbo could be going downhill. We could still have some exhaust, manifold gasket leaks or exhaust leaks somewhere in there. Compression can be going downhill. But I do feel like the plate was an improvement. My main thing was, at what point do those TST plates start ramping up EGT with no benefit in power? It's at a certain point you just start fueling it. So this thing's not smoking much. And then that's the other thing. It's 102 degrees outside today. So when I tested that, it might have been winter time. It was probably a lot cooler outside. I did have the air conditioning running. But the truck was a lot better tuned when I owned it than when this company owns it. I mean, they put drivers in this and they just run the living piss out of it. And I don't even know if the hood's really been open. The air filter has a little bit of restriction on it, not much. So yeah, but I do think that number 5 plate is safe for this truck. I would imagine it's got to be safe for any other 8.3 Cummins. I'm pretty happy with it. So I guess that kind of concludes that. Yeah, without going through, my original plan was to go through and put you know, a good exhaust manifold and maybe port and polish the head a little bit, up the injection pump, and do a bunch of work to this truck and make it shit and get for what it is. But yeah, I ended up selling it, moving to an F550, and I had the F550 for about a year. Pretty happy with that purchase. I sold the F550 and bought a 2018 F550. We're actually going to come and swap. I got some videos coming up on that. That's going to go a little bit slow. Funds are kind of tight right now. The company that I work for just closed down. So, yeah, I'm on my own now. And maybe that means a little bit more time for projects, but a little bit less money. So, thanks for watching. Check out, if you haven't seen my previous video, check it out. I've got a really good video of before and after testing on this thing. And with the fuel plate, and that's all I did. I was real happy with the truck after that. So check out that 98 Freightliner FL70 TST fuel plate modification. So other than that, if you like these videos, stay tuned, subscribe, like this video, and I got some other projects coming up. I've always got a lot of different stuff going on this channel. So a lot less trucking. I haven't had much trucking going on the channel. But now there's going to be very, very little. So we'll see you around. Thanks for watching.